With ISL Online, you can access and control any distant computer or mobile device. Sign up now and start supporting your customers.
You're watching Tech Talk, brought to you by Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live Mondays at 8 p.m. London time, and we will be streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can listen to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn, Player FM, and others. And now...
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Tech for Tech's Tech Talk. This is a live show where we try and help, grow your business.
Yeah.
My name's Phil Griffiths. This is...
I'm Jenny, and I'm your boss.
Yeah, boss in more ways than one. Right, you've probably all heard that a few times up to now. So this is episode 148.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's getting now close to that 150. So, tonight we're going to talk about how to respond to negative feedback or reviews. So, on the show tonight, we've got Will, Chris, and Ben. They'll introduce themselves in a few seconds and also give you a story tip or even ask for some advice. And, well, let's start off with Will first. So, Will, if you want to introduce yourself, actually, before Will, obviously, if anyone is watching, if you want to comment, let us know you are watching, so we're not talking to ourselves. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and go from there. I can see people are watching, but obviously it'd be nice to actually see you commenting. So please let us know
if you can be heard or not.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, over to you, Will. You can introduce yourself, and hopefully someone will talk by then.
Yep.
Hi folks, I'm Will from Dunfermline in Scotland. I run consumer tech and have a shop now as well, which is doing good. It could only get better. And tonight I'm going to ask for some advice. I am taking on a new client from managed services point of view, and they are debating whether to go with Google Workspace or Microsoft Office. So I've given them the pros and cons of both, but I'd be interested to hear it from another perspective or someone else's point of view. If you put some chat in the comments, or even if you want to message me, I'd really appreciate people's advice on this.
Okay, that's brilliant, Will. Just to add to that, is it a business or consumer? And is it
Business,
just
sorry. Yeah, it's a business.
Okay, is it multiple people?
Yes, there's about 12 users.
Okay, okay, guys, if you've got any advice for Will, obviously let us know. Let's quickly go to chat. We've got Neo Computer saying hi. Do you want to do the rest of the chat?
Yes, I'll take it. Neo Computers, hello. Dan, good evening. I'm hearing us loud and clear. That's good. Gadget Joe, evening all. Hope you're all well. I'll be in and out this evening as currently feeling very ill with no voice. Handy when my job is talking. I don't know. It could also be handy in a marriage, Joe. I mean, when this one loses his voice, things just go really smooth in the house. But I didn't say that. Ian, good evening, and you're hearing this loud and clear. That's good. Mark Dennis, good evening to you. And Flag Computer Repair, hi there to you. Singing and hearing good from Ashford, Kent. And who's in the box?
Right, okay, so Chris, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do. Obviously, you're sort of a new person to the show. You haven't been on for a while. So, and also if you've got any tip, advice, or news, or you want advice like Will.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Chris Hodgkiss. I run a business called i2 Made Simple. We're a company based in Birmingham, South Birmingham to be exact. And we have a split between both the managed services and serving the consumer market on a call-out basis. We don't have a shop. We have an office, and we take a different approach. And in terms of the way that we work, it's a little bit different to most. And maybe the type of client we're trying to approach, I don't know, but it seems to work the way that we're doing it. And I guess tips I'm going to share with you is one I learned from a previous business was when you're new coming into this game, don't think that you've got to kind of charge a smaller price to win the work. Otherwise, you will end up setting the precedence for future work. So, kind of set the right price right from the day dot, and charge appropriately for your time and your efforts and that you're putting in. It'll only bite you in the bum later on, because you'll end up having to put your prices up when your overheads get higher, and then you'll end up in a situation where people will say, "Well, you only charged me this last year or this the other." So just go in from day dot with what the rate is that's appropriate.
He's right.
Yeah, definitely good advice there. Brilliant. Do you want to get the rest of the chat, Jen?
Yeah,
What's on
Lions Tech, hello to you. Dan, it says, Joe, you don't need a voice to type. And he's right about that. He's totally right. Gadget Joe, my wife and kids are enjoying every moment of me having no voice. I bet they are. Very true, he says to Dan.
There we go.
So,
Right, over to you, Ben. So if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know what you do and why you're in such a dark room at the moment. Looks a bit mysterious. If you've got any tips or advice for us.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a dark room. I'm actually filming from a bed at the moment because there's still ongoing back issues at the moment. I've got sciatica, unfortunately, so it's the most comfy place at the moment.
It's where he does all his OnlyFans shots as well, just to let everyone know.
It's not only fans, it's only tech tonight.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm Ben Ashcroft. I'm Bugs and Bytes Computing. Sell a lot of refurbished laptops, desktops, gaming computers, and also do trade sales as well. My tip of the day this evening is sounds a bit counterintuitive, I suppose, but don't be afraid to say no to some customers or refuse certain jobs. I had a customer came in about a week and a half ago, went and picked this computer up out of hours to help him out because I've been off with my back problems the week before, sort of thing. Basically, long story short, he had 4 different email addresses, didn't know any of the passwords for them, and wanted to move from Outlook 2007. That should have been a red flag straight away, up to something newer. 2 of the email addresses were in business domains, and he didn't know which one they were with, let alone the login details. I said to him, if he couldn't get the correct information the next morning, when my colleague was there, we couldn't do much to help him. So come the next morning, he gave me totally wrong information. He then came to try and pick the computer up when I was on a call out, and then was really, really sort of rude to me. He was like, "Oh, you'll have to return the computer back to me now. I'm not wasting an hour of my time coming to pick it up." So I just sort of left it for a bit, went back to him half an hour later once I sort of digested and cooled off, and said, "Look, really sorry, don't think this is going to work. You need to take a computer to somebody else to sort it, because I don't get involved if that's your attitude. Come back and pick it up from the office." And that was that, really. You know, it's I think I said something to someone earlier in the week. The longer you've been in business, the more your spidey senses sort of kick in, and you sort of start to learn the customers you do and don't want. And it's it sounds a bit picky and choosy, but it's not. It's your time's valuable, and if people don't value you and your time, then why would you want to work with them? Why would you want to help them? You know, if they're like that, have that attitude. You know.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Going off that, not that you did anything wrong, but I was reflecting on something I did one time. When you read a text as opposed to hearing somebody's voice, you read it in your own way.
Yeah.
And it may not be the way that the writer intended it to be. When they said, just for instance, you'll have to bring it to me, they may not have meant to sound like, oh, you'll have to bring it to me now. But you read it that way and you got defensive.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what you did, but I'm just giving an example.
If you're in a bad mood,
you're going to read it. Yeah. I
I
had that happen to me one time. And this lady, it turns out she's probably one of the nicest people you ever met. And I totally misread her. And I sat there and I told Phil, and he says, well, let's see what she's saying. Let's see what she's saying. And you read it. He says,
It's
I
the
don't
same.
think she's being snarky at all.
Yeah. It's
So
the
it
same for
really-
social media posts.
That's why he made me start calling people on the phone rather than texting. And things got along so much better, didn't they?
Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. Is verbal communication is a lot better than
Yeah.
written. But
I wasn't picking on you, Vin. I was just using you for an example. But yeah, I just learned a lesson there and thought I'd share
obviously
it.
everyone's different, do different things in different ways. But I always find that verbal communication, no matter what, is if you've got the option, is doing it.
Yeah.
It's not always an option, though. So sometimes you have to do types. Chris, were you trying to say something there?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same in your social media posts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also may even be the way that you actually read your reviews.
Yeah.
That's it. If
Yeah.
you're in a bad mood and reading the reviews and thinking, "Oh, it's a bad review," and you're in that bad mood before you start reading it, it's going to be
bad.
yeah, and you're going to probably
Yeah.
respond in a worse
Or
way.
if there's someone that you just never get along with and they comment on somebody on your post, you just know that you're going to be in a bad mood for reading their comment. You just know it. So you read it as this person is just a right.
Yeah.
That's it. Right. Before we go any further, just got to say thank you to ISL Online for sponsoring this show and making it
Yes.
possible. So obviously, if anyone wants to scan the QR code on the screen, it will take you to ISL Online's website where you'll be able to obviously try the software out and so forth. Ideal for remote support. And here's just a really quick video about it.
With ISL Online, you can access and control any distant computer or mobile device. Sign up now and start supporting your customers.
There we go. Told you it was a really short video. So
And they're very easy to work with, ISL Online. Very friendly staff.
yes, definitely.
We used to use it previously.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to do your Tech Max news and then we'll get on to the new topic?
I will be glad to do the Tech Max news. So I'm going to keep it short and simple this week. I promised that I would say a shout out for the very first one who signed up, and that was Tech Point Distribution. So they have made it for the first sign up, and I just wanted to make sure that all of them got their shout out. I did say it last week, but if they weren't listening in, I wanted to make sure they got that. Our charity once again is going to be Gamers Beat Cancer, simply because, well, what better thing to go for is something like that, and with being tech related and gamers in the group, we can all go at it together. So I like that one, and I'm waiting for some more people to pay that I would announce, but we only do that once you've paid up. But Phil's going to go through who's exhibiting on the screen. We got Tech Point, we got Case King, Aerocool. There you go. Thunder X3, In-Game Gear, APNX, Leon Lee, Fantex, Colink, Haven, Nitro Concepts, Moza Racing, Strumplified, Ducky, EADR, VIP, QNAP, Kingston, Spire, and awaiting logo and awaiting logo.
Yeah,
so,
two people
That
signed
would be a new one.
waiting for the information, but that'll come through. But obviously, it's early days yet. Most sign-ups don't happen until New Year anyway, do they?
But if you sign up as soon as you can, you'll avoid getting stuck in like a corner or a broom closet or something like that where you don't want to be. You can pretty much pick and choose where you want to be on the floor when you sign up early. And also, we have some really good sponsorships available. So contact me at info@tftmax.co.uk if you want to sponsor or book in a spot, or if you just have a question that you want to ask me. I'll do my best to attack it for you.
There we go. That should pretty much cover it. In the hotels as well, we've got the discount code on the website, 15% off of Leonardo's. But do shop around; you might find other ones at a better price. Prices can fluctuate when they know there's an event coming up at that time. So, right, let's get on to the main show then. I think that pretty much covers that then.
Yep.
So, if it'll let me turn the screen off, come on. Oh, come on. Here we go. There we go. So, right, did anyone get back with advice for Will? So, let's have a look. We have a majority of the reviews. There is an odd one or two, which are just a customer being, basically a pain in the arse. Wage responsibility. Yeah, definitely. Neo's also saying one of the latest was happy with the service we provided, received, but then dropped us at 2 stars for our terms and conditions, which we have to make sure we have in place, and so forth. And a Josephine is waving. So I hope that's what hand pink wave means anyway.
I have no clue.
And I don't know. That could be something weird or strange.
That
But there we go.
could belong in Ben's room. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to know what's going on there. Right, let's go around the room then. So right, let's start off with Will then. So Will, how
Yeah.
do you respond to negative reviews?
Well, I've learnt the hard way on both of this, both in personal at work and through running an IT business. Never respond straight away to a review, whether it be negative or positive, because you need time to process it. And like we were saying, within messages, you can't, you don't know the tone of that message, basically.
Yes.
So it's always better. I've been at work and I've been writing a reply back and I've sent it off, and then you regret it. You can't pull it back and all this sort of stuff. So I think it's how you respond. It's good to get negative reviews in a way, because it shows that how you respond to it, I believe, is you're only human, and you're showing that
Yeah.
giving your explanation and things like that. So I've got two sitting on my Google review accounts just now, and I've responded, I think, quite well to it. And I've never had any problems. And people's actually mentioned, I like the way you responded to that, because you explained what really happened. Because there's always two sides to the story as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we've all been there in business and in personal work life, where if you respond straight away, I don't think I'd be in business. Just run straight away with arguments. But yeah,
Causes more drama when you reply with a negative, doesn't it?
Because
So,
you're going to be passionate,
yeah,
very passionate, which it's good to be passionate about your work, but not that passionate. I also say that keep it factual.
Mhm.
State what you really did. If they brought the thing in there and they said, I want the fans cleaning, and you look at it, you say, oh, yeah, they really do need cleaning, and you book them in for that, and you hear the hard drive ticking. I think it's okay if you call them up and tell them, look, your hard drive's ticking. Would you like for me to back your data up for you? And if they decline it, and then 2 weeks later they lose their data, you can't be blamed for that.
Mhm.
You can say, well, I have in my notes here that I called you and asked, do you want me to back this up because I heard the hard drive clicking? So, that's always good information to put in a response, I
Yeah.
think. It's
yeah.
things like that. Because people will read and say, oh, but they did offer you a backup and you declined it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I use WhatsApp quite a bit for chat. And the
Yeah.
good thing with business WhatsApp, maybe you could do it with personal, is you could export the chat as well. So I keep a record of my chats when I think they're going to go a bit pear shaped. I don't keep everything, but if I
Yeah.
think it's going to be one of those ones that's going to go a bit, pear shaped, then I'll export the chat and put it into my CRM software. The
Hmm.
tickets and things like that, and I just keep a hold of it,
Yeah.
just in case. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always a good idea. So yeah, so I totally agree with Will though. What he says, obviously, make sure you either sleep on it or at least give it a while to sink in, so you can reply
Yep.
to a degree. I don't mean like leave it a week or something like that. It
No.
needs to be sort of a prompt
Yeah.
response, so the customer knows that you care about it. But obviously, you don't want to be straight away. Let it sink in, especially if you're in a bad mood before you reply. So yeah,
And
definitely.
on the weekends, give it 48 hours because you're gonna be like really irritated on the weekend.
Yeah, possibly. So it's really down to the person. Sometimes some people get more worked up about it, because we all will. Because especially when you own your own business, especially if you've created it yourself, it's a bit like an extension of yourself, or even like a child to a degree. You don't want anyone being aggressive or saying that.
Yeah.
It's personal, really.
It
When they're
is.
saying
It
your business is
is.
a load of rubbish, your business is you, so you take it to heart, rather than if you were working at a company like Dell and someone left a bad review, you just go, oh, it's another bad review, just carry on with it. I'll go
Yeah.
home at 5 o'clock. I don't care. Where obviously when it's your own business, it reflects on you. Right, let's go on to Chris. So Chris, obviously, over to you. So, how do you respond to negative reviews, or give us some examples? What's happened?
Um, I've had one situation in the past in the previous business where I had somebody leave negative review, and in this particular case, I guess it was my fault. And I think the thing that I actually did was take the responsibility and say, yeah, I was to blame. I've put measures in place to prevent this from happening again, and so forth. So in this particular case, it was a business PC that was sold with 3-year warranty. I insisted that the customer contacted the manufacturer to organise a suitable part replacement under the manufacturer's warranty. They explained that the warranty lied with them, not with us, so to speak. And they were having none of it. They were kind of saying, "Well, we bought it from you. It's your warranty." Da, da, da. And it was just going backwards and forwards, and we're achieving nothing really. If I'd have just taken the lead and taken the responsibility, and maybe just picked up the phone and made the call, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. But either way, I just accepted the responsibility and just put my hand in the air and said, "Okay, maybe I should have given you some help. It was only weeks old rather than months old, or even a year or two old." So yeah, that was the way in which I decided to handle it. Still didn't make any difference in the end. In this particular situation, they still kind of went off on one and said that you're going against our rights and whatever else. So that's just crazy. But yeah, it's the past now. Moved on.
Sometimes it is better to take the higher ground and admit, that you could have done it better. It does help people sometimes to just say it, even though you may be thinking differently.
Yeah, I mean, we've had one in recently. It wasn't a review as such. It was more of a complaint that came through an email for a job that's been taking too long, and I just said, yeah, okay, I accept it's taken too long for us to turn it around. I am putting systems in place. I am in the process of recruiting and trying to take on people to assist with the workload to try and get through stuff a bit quicker. So yeah, I think it's just about how you deal with it. If you get funny about it and you get snotty about it, you're only going to work yourself up
Yeah.
and get yourself even more kind of wound up about the whole situation. It's just going to ruin your day. But I mean, I heard this saying once from some of you might know her from the networking, from a lady called Michelle. And she used to say, and mom used to give her, it's like pull your knickers up and box on or something crazy like that. It's crazy. I think Will knows it. But it's stayed with me, and it's so true. You just have to kind of think, well, okay. But I've actually got 99% of my reviews are absolutely fantastic, and I'm so proud of what I have got. So yeah, just deal with it sensibly. Don't get snotty about it. Don't get nasty about it. Just say, okay, what can I do to help you put it right? What do I need to do that's going to make the difference?
Yeah.
But deal with the people directly. Don't go replying back to the review straight away in Google. Once you've had the conversation, you may then decide to summarize it maybe back in the Google review so people can see that you've handled it and you dealt with it, rather than just leaving it to manifest itself.
Yeah, one way I used to like replying to bad reviews was actually most of the time you know who the customer is if they leave a bad review. It's either you've got the name or they said who they are, or you just know because you're not usually having that many issues. Is I usually like to actually, if I can get hold of them, is call the customer and have a conversation before I reply to them, and then basically sort the issue out on the phone, hopefully. And then when you've finished that conversation, you can then go into the reply on, if they haven't changed it, you can then reply on that review and just say, thanks for the call earlier, or hopefully I've sorted your issue out and so forth, and just make it look like you've actually been proactive about it. You've contacted
exactly what I just said.
Yeah. So it's absolutely brilliant doing it that way.
And dollars to donuts, you're going to get that review on the worst day of your life.
Yeah.
It won't be one where everything has been smooth sailing. It's going to be on one where either like Ben, you have a backache, you've fallen down a flight of stairs, you've been at the hospital all day, something's going on bad. It's usually the worst day of your life, and then all of a sudden, sucker punch.
Worse.
So,
can I just ask Will some questions before I pop off about his question he had earlier? So what sector are they in?
Veterinarian, vets.
Okay. And what system are they currently working with?
None. That's why it's a new business.
Okay, it's a startup. Yeah.
Yeah, startup business.
So I would look and see whether they need to integrate into anything. So if there's any kind of if there's any systems that they're currently working with, because Google's quite friendly when it comes down to attaching things with APIs and getting systems to kind of talk to each other, whereas Microsoft is a little bit of a closed space in that respect.
Yeah.
I'd also find out what the staff are kind of trained in and what they're familiar with from their background before they kind of join the business. So are they more Google orientated or more Microsoft orientated? I'd guess Microsoft. Google tends to be for like your creatives and your schools and that kind of sector.
Yeah.
But just find out what they're most familiar with. Are they familiar with Google? Already. If they're using Google Mail on a personal level, well, the business package is no real difference really.
Yeah, cost wise is more or less the same, I believe. So
it is. Yeah, it's just the fact they're whacking a domain behind it. But from your point of view, I think you'll make more profit doing it as a Microsoft way. I think you'll make yourself a bit more.
I prefer Microsoft.
Yeah, well, I think
that
you
would
have to
have
do.
been my recommendation, actually.
I think you have to do what's right for you, not necessarily what's right for the client here. You need to be a little bit cruel to be kind and think, what am I familiar with? What can I do? Have a listen to what kind of, do they have to comply to anything? Do they have to have any certain compliance in place? Do they need archiving? Do they need backup? That kind of stuff. And don't be afraid. Even though they're a startup, don't be afraid to charge appropriately. I think I put a post in the group the other week about a business which I've just signed up. It's great. So yeah, we'll have a separate chat offline if you want some more advice if you fancy it. But I think you just need to stick to Microsoft myself.
Yeah.
I think it integrates better as well. So, but yeah, I'm having a chat with them early next week. So it's good to get people's different points of view as well. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Right, that's brilliant, Chris. Thank you for doing that. If anyone else has got any advice for Will, feel free to comment, even if it's after the show's gone live, because I know a lot more people watch it after we're live. If you've got any advice, obviously reach out to Will or put in the comments and I'll pass on any advice if he doesn't see it. So that's brilliant. So let's go on to Ben then. So Ben, you've already did give us sort of an example at the beginning of the show, but how do you typically respond to negative reviews?
I think like both Chris and Will said, never reply straight away. Give yourself like half an hour, whatnot, because myself being Sagittarius, that's a fire sign, means that usually you're very straight out there and then sort of fiery, as it were. So yeah, I usually always leave it a bit of time before I reply. I think you need to remember as well, from a personal level, you need to accept mistakes can happen, so don't take it personally. But you also need to remember it's business, not personal in most cases as well. It's usually something that's happened with the business rather than they're taking a disliking to you as a person per se. You also need to remember as well that the vast majority of positive reviews will outweigh the negatives that you've got. And you can't control what somebody writes, whether that be true or untrue or whatnot. I'm talking mainly here about sort of Google reviews and negative reviews on there. It's like I've got like one star review on Google and 1 2-star review. The 2-star review is just a fake review that somebody left me. So it's like there's not much you can do about it. It's just try and be sort of professional about the reply, that sort of thing. But yeah, sort of just accept the issue, apologise, try and stay professional and courteous as you can.
No problem. I'll just reply to that in a few seconds, Ben. But Chris has got to go, guys. So thanks for joining us on the show, Chris.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
So absolutely brilliant. You could join us, and obviously feel free to join us again in the future if you want to.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've got a wife to go home to. Yeah, been out since 7:30 this morning, so you should be wondering where the hell I am. And I think dinner's probably in the dog.
Probably. Just tell her that you're an internet sensation. She'll understand.
I've sent her the replay and she can watch later. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Nice to see you again, doing well. And I should put myself down for next year, shouldn't I? See you soon.
See you later, Chris. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right, so let's go back over to Ben. Yeah, some good advice there, Ben. So you say you've got 1 star and a 2-star, was it?
Yeah, the 2-star was a fake review, actually. It was really random. It was a local guy who got done for robbing an old lady about a week after he posted his review. So yeah, but yeah, the 1 star was a customer. Basically, it was an end user customer. He basically, over the space of about 3 or 4 years, bought about that many laptops because he kept sort of trashing them. At one point, he broke one of them by dropping it off a table. It broke all the plastics and the hinges. He tried to get them to repair it under warranty, and I was like, no, this is completely physical damage, you know. And then he blamed his 6-month-old baby for pushing the laptop off the table as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all 6-month-olds have the strength of Godzilla. And
Yeah,
could
oh, for
not-
sure, yeah. He just became a customer to avoid. I mean, you'll see it if you Google my business. You know, it is what it is. I responded as best as I could, sort of thing.
I'll
He
never
bought a machine
forget.
after that, and then started complaining about non-existent faults and stuff. So, I know just I've talked about 2 of the 3 customers in total that I've only ever dropped, as it were. And yeah,
I'll never forget this guy came in our shop. He bought the computer off of us. We actually built the laptop from the ground up. And he came in about 2 years later and he said, I want this fixing under warranty. Well, it was a 1-year warranty on the laptop. So, sorry. B, he said the laptop had broken itself. I said, can I see the laptop? He pulls it out. And just as precious as anything you want to see, it looked like, well, let's just say someone had sat on the laptop. The indention was there.
You had a seat mark.
Yeah, I had a seat mark.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I said, well, I can tell you didn't drop it. That's for sure. I said, is it possible that your missus sat on? Because I knew that he was a really tall, thin guy. I knew it wasn't him. I said, is it possible she sat on it? And he says, well, no, because she's not at home. And I said, well, maybe some other day, perhaps, maybe last night she did it. No. I said, well, look at this. Look at what I'm looking at. And you're out of warranty. I said, I'm not repairing this for the love or money for it being sat on. And it clearly was sat on. I said, I would get you pricing for new plastics and everything. I will repair it for you. There's no problem in that. New plastics, help you out with that, and quote you for it and help you out. But it's not going to be under warranty, I'm going to tell you. Oh, he got really defensive. He got really, really defensive. And I said, well, I'm sorry to have to be the one to bear the news to you about the 2 factual things. But like I said, I will help you. I kept enforcing, I will help you. I will help you. I will help you. And I don't think he thought that he was going to get it fixed under warranty when he came in there. Because when he left out, he was ever so, shall we say, calm. And, I think some people will try and won over you just to see what your response will be. And he didn't get, as we should say, a yeah out of me.
Yeah.
He got, me being actually nice about it and everything. I didn't do well, if you think I'm going to do that under warranty. No, I didn't do that. I just kept saying, I'll help you, but there will be a charge.
Yeah, the laptop
Deal with kindness.
itself, it was like U-shaped near enough. So
it was bad off.
It was like it was fine yesterday, and then suddenly overnight it suddenly bent itself, and it's like okay.
Yeah.
After having it for 15 months, 18 months, or whatever it was suddenly just did that in one day. But yeah, that's customers for you. So definitely. So have you got any advice, Jen?
No, but I think Ken at Canny Clever does.
Go on then.
If you have
Mhm.
tried making it good with a customer and they are unreasonable, try asking great customers to leave reviews, drown it out with a bit. A profile with 100% excellent reviews can look fake. So having the odd poor review shows you're human and you're real, and don't lose sleep over it. But learn what you can.
That's it.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you do have that one bad review, make sure it's the reply is a good reply, not a bad one. Otherwise, you'll make yourself look 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely there. So at the end of the show, I'm going to post my list. I've got like basically, well, I call it 19 steps. There's actually 20 that I go through if I'm responding to a review and
You
how
don't
to
believe in a
work out.
10-step program?
Oh no, it's 19, but the 20 is I would never use number 20 because that's going down the legal route. So, and I even put that in there. You never use this option, and I've never have up to now. But it's the
Okay.
same. Even when we've done when we use at the computer store and call outs, and even now as tech for text, for example, on the live shows we do after the event, the way we respond is the same way. Each time
Yeah.
is obviously we take responsibility, stay professional and polite, offer solutions, and show people you're actually working to improve these. Because, for example, if you're always getting a certain piece of feedback what's saying exactly the same thing, you get suddenly got 10 people saying, obviously, there is something wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's people who deny absolutely everything. Every customer could say the same thing. It's, oh, absolutely crap, this how you whatever is, or they can't understand your pricing or whatever. If everyone says it, it's true. It's as simple as that. So obviously you need to rectify it. And one of the things what I would suggest is when you do rectify your issues, is you obviously let everyone know about it. So stick it on Facebook saying, due to customer feedback, which we value from you guys, blah, 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 we have changed how we do ABC, and it's now like this, so you can easily understand and so forth. Obviously, don't make it sound condescending or anything like that.
Or even you could go to one of the customers that gave you that feedback and say, hey, I've just gone over the way I'm doing my pricing structure. Would you like to take a look at this and tell me what you think?
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah,
Uh,
good.
It's definitely good. Another thing I'll be doing at the end of the show, along with these 20 things, I'll be giving some example responses to negative reviews for different types of reviews. There's about 10 of them. Obviously, I suggest you edit them and personalize them a bit, but it gives you a list of different ways to respond or ideas how to respond. And that's how we go about it, because the way you respond to someone, let's just say someone saying that you're scamming them, or someone
Yeah.
says like false accusation, or let's just say it's a customer you don't actually want back in your store. There's different ways to respond to them.
How to fire
So
them.
yeah, obviously, if you're not wanting that customer to come back into your store again, you don't give them your contact details and stuff like that. But to get him back, so but obviously there's a way around it. So again,
Negative reviews they're not just subject to services you do. People can actually come in your store and say something about your store and hurt your feelings.
Mhm.
I'll never forget the hotel inspector, as we called him, came to see Phil and myself. We had just opened up the store. The paint, you could tell it was still smelling paint in the air. It was all fresh, brand new, done up. Oh, we were so proud. Oh, and he came in, and that was his job to do, by the way, is to do this. And he came in, he goes, "Oh dear, this will never do." And I looked around, and I was like, "I beg your pardon?" And he says, "Well, first of all, you've got memory sticks hanging on a nail on a wall. That'll never do." Okay, looking back, it looked pretty pathetic.
yeah,
But it was my baby. He had just come into my brand new baby, and I could have cried on the spot when he said it. And he went through picking things apart, and I was getting more fumed as he stood there, and I was ready to throw him out. I really was. I was getting really upset, and I had to excuse myself. So it can also be something about your store that is said, and you have to watch what you say because
Yeah,
you don't want to come across as a
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah. You don't want to come
One of
across the
those.
wrong way. Yeah. So, but
There's a saying.
it's
There's a saying called "There's nought worse than people,"
yeah.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's it. We're all critiqued.
That's
but we
it.
had invited him to come see our store, just like Alex Polizzi gets invited to these
Mhm.
hotels. And I guess what I thought was he was going to come in and go, "Oh my gosh, this is such a nice little store. Everything's in its place and a place for everything. I don't know what you can do better." And
Mhm.
I
it
think the thing
didn't
is
roll that way, did
yeah, the
it?
store was originally a bit like more of a workshop, a bit like Will's doing sort of thing,
Yeah,
where it was more people bring stuff in and then people kept asking for things and we added it to it. And in
yeah.
all honesty, we built the shop up from negative finance is probably the best way of putting it, as in
Mhm.
we had no money. And well, we turned it around over a few years, didn't
Yeah,
we? It definitely
it
changed
was
quite a
thriving
bit.
little
So
store.
yeah, so definitely pretty good there. What's Gadget Joe saying?
Negative reviews are not nice to receive, but the good majority of them are out of spite, anger, etc. when things don't go their way. A constructive negative review can actually help to improve
Well,
things.
that's it. Yeah, that's one of the things you want is constructive feedback, no
Yeah.
matter what, even if it's a
Which
good
that's
one.
what the guy was giving
Yeah.
us was constructive negatives. It's
Mm,
just that I took it
Mhm.
personal as I had just put down the paintbrush 2 days ago and just hung the sign and cleaned and scrubbed till my nails were, you know, gone. And oh gosh, we had been. It was our dream to
mhm.
have a computer shop, or my dream to have a shop. And I was finally living the dream, and he came in and he just tore it apart. And I was just,
Yeah, but without that feedback,
without that feedback, though, we would have never got off our backsides, would we?
well, we probably would have, but it probably
It gave us a kick up the
prompted us.
bum.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
We got
So
the slack balls, going and everything, and
yeah,
nice shelving and
yeah.
signage.
I'm going to say Gadget Joe probably knows a lot about feedback and stuff with when you're on YouTube and you put your face out there and so
Mhm.
forth. Some of the comments and stuff you actually get on there can be quite nasty and hurtful. So you just have to learn to live with
I
them.
call those keyboard warriors.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that they're probably, and I've got it in my mindset, they're sitting in their mother's basement, sipping on a juice box, probably wearing a vest, as you guys call them over here. I call them tank tops, and with a pair of boxer shorts on. And they haven't been in the shower for about a week. And they have nothing in life that is good for them except for that one moment where they criticize someone like Gadget Joe or Phil or
yeah,
someone that does the reviews. And that's their one moment of glory is to do something like that to
yeah.
hurt someone.
So Welsh text
Yeah.
says the same. He knows the feeling. It hurts. It does hurt, and it's the same when you've got your own business. Welshie, I'm not sure if you've had your own business before, but obviously when it is your business, it's
It's
part
personal.
of you. It's personal. So yeah, but YouTube reviews and stuff like that and comments can be very because people just don't. They've got 100% protection. No one knows who they
I
are,
would be
where they are.
ashamed to put some of the stuff
Hmm.
out there that they put. I
Exactly.
would be absolutely mortified to have my name, even if it is a code name, next to some of the stuff that they put out there. That's horrible.
Right. Okay. Let's move on. So, Will, have you got any
Yep.
more advice for us?
It's, I know we're mostly talking about negative reviews, but what about the good reviews? It's always good to reply to some of them as
Yes, it is.
well, just to show that they're not like computerized or bots or
Yeah,
whatever. I was just sitting thinking about that just now that we don't often reply to the good reviews that we get. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's something we should do is and take the positive reviews and learn from them as well.
absolutely.
So it's all,
Especially the positive
good.
ones, I always like to make them sound, when you're leaving feedback to them, more human sounding. Like, for example, being around to the
Yeah.
customers and they say thank you for coming around, and like reply say, "Oh, I'm glad everything's fine now. Thanks for the cup of tea and the biscuits and whatever. If you have any issues, again, just feel free to let us know," or something like that.
Yeah.
It's put that human touch that you tend to find if you with the negative reviews, you be more. What's the word? Probably professional response.
Yes, probably stern,
Yeah.
professional, and then you can kind of let your hair down a bit on the and be
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
Mrs. So and so down the street has given me a good review, and you want to be uh like as you say, human, I guess.
Yeah, it's just it's we forget about everyone focuses on the negative
Mhm.
things. It's human nature, but you forget the good things, like you say, Phil. If you got a cup of tea with that person, things like that. A lot of people, especially elderly people, like to have a chat
They
with
Yeah.
you,
do.
and they take up their time with chatting with you. So it's good to maybe put that in because it makes them feel better as well. So it's like we're giving the reviewee a
Yeah.
review. So it works both ways as well, but it's difficult. Like she says, it does hurt when you get negative
Yeah.
ones, regardless, and especially if it's late at night and you get a negative one and you can't do nothing about it, or you can't phone them. And the ones where you do try phone them, they don't answer, and then you get a message back. They're keyboard warriors, like you say, Jenny. They just respond via the keyboard. They don't want to speak to someone. But I think it's I'll take some of my own advice and reply to some of the positive reviews as well.
Sorry
I,
about
You
I
that.
know,
also
some of my customers, it's Enfield's customers, would send home a bottle of vodka for letting me stay, for letting him stay out longer than we really do stay out as a token of
Mhm.
their appreciation. They would send home a bottle of wine or bring in the store of some flowers. Thank you so much for getting that done before you said that it was going to be done. I really appreciate that. Here's a bouquet of flowers. I've had perfume from the Avon lady who came in and saw me and
Mhm.
got hers taken care of. You wouldn't believe the kind of gifts that came through the door. Chocolates.
Mhm.
I had to share my chocolates with his mother because, there's just so many boxes of chocolates were mounting up in chips. Oh my
I never
goodness.
saw them.
Oh yeah, I had to share them with your mom.
So yeah, okay.
I think is it roses or
Yeah, Rose was
yeah,
Mhm.
wrote one bluish box. Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. What about yourself, Ben? Have you got anything else you would like to add in here?
just going back to something that Gadget Joe said earlier on, and it's totally true about the constructive negative review, can actually help to improve things. I've actually had customers come into me who looked at my reviews on Google and who saw the response that I left to the 1-star review, and they said the way you handled it was just brilliant, and that actually made us
Mhm.
come and buy from you because of the fact you handled it how you did, sort of thing.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And as Ken also said, if you got 100% positive reviews, people think it's fake. It was one customer, I remember them coming in and saying it's great you've got a negative review, and I was like, why is it great? It says because the way you replied to it, and it shows that you're not fake. The fact that you've actually got some negative reviews or
Yeah.
a negative review in there, sort of thing, So it's but yeah, also how he says about the 10k people life me happily, 0.01% post a good review. It's I like to look at 1% of your customers cause 99% of your problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's so damn true. It's just so damn true.
I read a
Mhm.
computer shop. I won't call names or say where they were located. But anyway, all of the reviews were the exact same. Now, when I say the exact same, I mean it could have been a copy and paste word for word. So and so is a great person. So and so is easy to work with. So and so and so. And it was never what they took their device in for or what kind of device they had or the turnaround or anything like that. It was what a wonderful person this person was. And they had about, I'd say 25 reviews, all 5-star.
probably a local drug dealer.
And well, I wouldn't know. I don't read their reviews. But anyway, but I thought to myself, this could very well be a family member copying and pasting and making reviews for that
Well,
bunch.
how easy is it to make a Google account?
Very,
How easy is it to leave a review once you've got a Google account? It's as simple as
very.
that. So people want to do it, they can do. But I think over time they do actually close down these accounts when they're not being used, and so then in the end, if the account goes, the reviews do disappear as well. I've seen some in the past where we've had one or two bad reviews, and then after generally, I think it's about a year or something like that, they suddenly just disappear out of the blue.
What was the bad review that we got from someone over in, was it Taiwan?
Yeah,
Couldn't tie your shoes
I
properly.
can't remember what it was.
It's something about something we didn't even sell, A, and
what it was now.
B, there had been nothing like that come through the door to need it.
And we hadn't had any customers, to our knowledge, from Taiwan or anyone who'd visited Taiwan that we knew.
No.
So, but yeah,
So it was just really weird.
Yeah, you get that. Some people just like to leave reviews just for the sake of it, and it's surprising how many people leave reviews, especially the negative ones, and they've only ever left one review, and it's yours. Because you can actually see on Google how many reviews they've left for other people. Or
that's good to
they've
know,
left 10
Welshie.
reviews, and every single review is negative. So it's usually one way around or the other. And
The one person that's left me a negative review, if you look at his reviews, he's just grumpy. He's just grumpy about everything.
Just a sad person.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you
It was someone else that pointed that out to me in the group, actually, after they left that review. They went and saw that person's review, and they were all just negative reviews, about companies, businesses, just maybe someone that's needing some, I don't know,
that's it.
some happy stuff.
People that are just absolutely sad.
Yeah, some people are, to be honest, and that's all they want to do. Welsh Tech saying he believes it's 6 months for inactive account.
That's
Google.
good.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I can't say for definite, but yeah.
Gadget Joe is saying it's much more difficult to get people to post genuine positive reviews off their own back than it is to receive negative reviews. So like Ben said, it's all about how you handle the bad review.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say, amount of times you ask people to leave a positive review, and
Yeah.
they never do. They'll praise you and give you cups of teas, bottles
Yeah.
of wine, vodka, whatever you think of it.
Can I just say there? Do it right in front when you're at the house. Open the page on Google.
Beat me to it.
The other thing I've noticed as well, though, the double-edged sword is we're saying about all these accounts with one review from one person. I have had this as well, because quite a few reviews, it's from little old dears who never left a review in their life, never had a Google account. And so I've got quite a few reviews from accounts that have got one review. And I have had a couple of customers also ask the same thing. Why have you got so many reviews from people who've never left a review before? It looks suspicious. And it's like, it's not suspicious.
Yeah.
It's like little vessels sitting in her bedroom or kitchen and whatnot. She's never left a Google review in her life. So
I can just see me opening up the Google reviews and say, "Would you leave me a review?" And then them writing the review. She forced me while she was here to leave a review for her. So here's the review, 1 star. And there she sits over there drinking my cup of tea, and it's gone cold halfway into her cup. And I made it specially for her.
Yeah. So I must admit, I've done that. What Ben says is basically go to the house, do the job, and then basically, if they seem like they're happy, which they should be, then basically just say to them, "Do you mind leaving us a review as you leave?" And I'll just basically leave the page open for them and walk out. I don't see what they're right. I don't see if they're doing.
I make a point as well of I always mark 5 stars, and I say if you disagree with the star rating, feel free to change it. It's up to you. But I always leave it at 5 because one of the customers, he accidentally left me a 4. He says, I meant to leave you a 5, but you left him at a 4 instead. It's like,
I've had a few in the past. where they say excellent job, brilliant, and then they give you 1 star, and you're like, huh? But,
I think some people actually don't understand that marking the stars actually brings your score down.
yeah, they probably think 1 star is first class, 2 stars is second class, or something like that. The opposite way around, I don't know,
But they know how to book a 5-star hotel
well, yeah, I
and
suppose.
things like that.
I don't
So
know. None of my customers will be booking a 5-star hotel, I tell you.
Well, me and Will are Scottish, so we probably never book 5-star hotels, you know.
I don't
Yeah,
think I've read a 5-star hotel, have I?
Speak for yourself, Mr. Ashcroft. Speak for yourself.
So I'll say Premier Inn Travel Lodge usually do it for me. To be
Yeah.
honest,
well,
what
they're
I always say
comfortable.
is if I'm going anywhere, it's usually for one night, and I'm usually at an event. All I'm going to do is turn up in there, go to sleep for 7 hours, get up in the morning, and I'm gone. It doesn't matter as long as I sleep. I'm not bothered what it looks like, to be honest.
As long as it's clean. As long
I'm
as it's
very
clean.
advanced at the moment because I've actually booked my Tech Max 2026 accommodation. I booked it before we even had this year's Tech Max by accident.
2026.
Yeah, 2025, sorry, yeah.
I was going to say, we hadn't even announced that one.
I actually booked that by mistake before I booked this year's one, so...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember you saying about that. You had a few issues when booking, weren't it?
I booked the wrong week, and then I went back, got the email saying, basically you've got your hotel stay tonight, and it's like, what? It's not till next week. And I had to very quickly go back and change.
Ben, was it you that went to like an open day somewhere, and when you checked in, you got your key, and somebody was actually in the room?
No, that wasn't me, no.
It wasn't?
No.
Somebody at open day somewhere, I don't remember if it was like a CMS or Target or somebody, they checked in and they went up to the room with the card, and they opened the door and somebody was actually in the room.
I think it was that
No,
year.
it wasn't me.
Where it was my birthday on the day when we went. It was someone. I remember something happening to someone.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
I thought it was Ben, but obviously not.
No, it can't have been Ben. But yeah. So well, it's coming to the end of the show, guys. So if anyone has got anything in the comments to put through, really quick, do so. I'm just going to go down my list really basic. So the way I'll respond to review is make sure it's a prompt response, but obviously, as we've said before, make sure you're in the right mind before you do the response. Acknowledge the issue, stay professional and polite, take responsibility, offer a solution, encourage offline, so that phone call or get them to contact you offline. Clarify any misunderstandings, highlight any company values. Hopefully you've got some company values. It's always good to have some of those if you haven't already, is to have somewhere on your website where you've got your company values where people know exactly how you're doing, and you can always then say, yeah, we were always supposed to do it this way. Make sure the response is personalized. Again, I'm going to give you some set responses, but personalize them as much as you can. Learn and improve. So obviously learn and improve every time you're doing it. Obviously, if the same things are coming in, then obviously you need to improve. Showcase positive changes. So obviously talk about or post on social media that you've changed things to make things better so people know. Obviously, always protect privacy, always in there. Let's have a look. Thank the reviewers as well at the end. Encourage future interactions by giving contact details and so forth. Always monitor your reviews. So if you're getting lots of reviews on lots of different places, make some sort of database, or if you're using a CRM or something like that, and keep all your reviews in one place. So then you can scan through them, see if there's anything what's common or anything what's not so common in there, and you might find a few patterns. So train staff. If you've got any staff, obviously staff need to know how to respond as well. You need a company policy where everyone responds the same way, or make it one person's job so no one else does the responding to that. But it's always still best to train the staff anyway, because if someone came in the store in person, they should know how to respond. And the same if they're answering the phone. So set realistic expectations. So obviously, Don't tell someone it's going to take 5 hours when you know full well it's going to take you 48 hours to do. And then share your success stories. That's the basics to it. I'm going to post all that as well as the responses into chat for anyone who wants to use those. That's if it lets me put that much text in.
I used to always quote more time than I thought it would take, simply because there's always that little thing that's going to come up and bite you, of something's going to kick off in the store. The lights will go out due to power cuts and things like that. I always quote, like, if it's going to be a 2-day job, quote them for like 3 to 4. And then if you can get it done in logical time, call them up. Hey, I've got it done one day for you. They'll be ever so pleased.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they'll be expecting, longer time. And when you get it done in the time you really should get it done in, it's a win-win.
That's it. Just to go back on what I've just posted, if anyone, obviously because it's unformatted the way it's posted on social media, you wanted it in a formatted like Word document, just send me an email over. I'll put the email address on the screen for you, and I'll email it over, or send me a message on Messenger and I'll send it over, and I'll send that over for you. So, there we go. So, right, Will, have you got anything you want to finish up with?
I think it's good to respond to most reviews, negative or positive, but just remember you don't always know what's going on in that person's head or background or whatever's going on, so be kind to everybody.
That's good.
That's good. You just don't know. Some people might have some sort of disabilities that might make them certain ways, or they may not have the best grammar in the world, or things can get mixed up and so forth. So yeah, always be polite. No matter what anyone says, try and don't try to be polite, because you just never know. But there we go. What about yourself, Ben? Anything to add on there?
Just carry on being great. Do what you do. Water off duck's back.
Well, there you go. Nice and simple. Anything you'd like to add on?
I'd like to thank our guest for being here tonight. It's a shame that Chris had to leave so soon, but I'd like to thank him for being on.
Yep.
And as always, thank you, Ben and Will. You're on more than the others, but hey, thank you for being on. I really appreciate you being on the show with us.
We have next week.
We have the quarterly review next week, and we're going to have, I think it's Michael at Target, Dave at VIP, and I'm not sure the last one.
Waiting for confirmation on 2. But basically quarterly review, so distributor that is. So we're going to have 2 distributors on, if not more, and basically they're going to be talking about. So you can ask them whatever questions you want. So we know the Amazon question is going to come up. So ask a question about Amazon if you want.
You can ask them things like, what's trending, in the channel. What's some new brands that you're carrying? Things like that. That's the stuff they love to talk about.
What do they think about the new Intel processors? What are coming out later in the week and so forth? I don't know if any of you guys have actually seen the new processors. If you've seen the new processors, what are coming out? So they're sort of like 25% more energy efficient, but performance-wise, they're about 5% less than the last generation. So again,
makes you just want to run right out and get one.
They're not officially out yet, so this is what everyone's saying. So actually seeing and so forth, you might find that on newer things they might actually be better, but on older things they might not perform as well. But the catches, the motherboards, just looking at, for example, at Scan. And the reason why I'm looking at Scan is because they've got pricing on, and distributors, most of them don't have them even listed at the moment. So let me just put them on there.
That's not Scan.
Sorry, not Scan. Overclockers. Get it right. Get the right company. I'm going to turn the chat off anyway. So as you can see, the new processors themselves are starting off at about $289. Again, this is a consumer-based website, so obviously trade, it should be a little bit cheaper than that, hopefully, all the way up to the top Core Ultra 9. It's not called the i9 anymore. It's now the Core Ultra Intel Core Ultra 9, and model number is 285K. That's not going to confuse anyone.
Thank God I'm not working in the shop now.
Yeah, you're looking at about 550 quid, including VAT. And the motherboards are starting at looks like about 225 quid. So if you want a top end processor and motherboards, you're looking close to £800 and upwards. So that's something definitely to look out for. So I hope no one needs a new processor anytime soon. But hopefully it means that old ones, the 14th, 13th gen, will potentially get cheaper, but who knows? So, but there you go. That's something for you. Right, let's call it a night then, because we're at 9:05.
Do.
So again, as Jen said, thank you, Will. Thanks, Ben. Also, thank you, Chris. Thanks for everyone tuning in. Before we go, also thank you to...
With ISL Online, you can access and control any distant computer or mobile device. Sign up now and start supporting your customers.